Okay, it worked.
Okay, we can let everyone in now.
So it's setting up the meeting. Yeah. Okay, it worked.
Okay, we can let everyone in now.
Is it gonna mess up the audio for me or anything, or yeah?
It is. I think you have to mute the live. Doreen, could you admit everyone?
Yeah. Justin, are you gonna record or is Dorian gonna record?
I'm gonna record.
Okay. Once everyone joins, I think should be good now. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for waiting and so sorry for the delay.
We're having some minor technical difficulties because my Zoom isn't connecting on my laptop. So everyone had to switch roles today.
Perfect. Okay. So I think I can just share screen as well.
Yeah, you can. You can leave the YouTube page. You don't need to have it open.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Like, don't close it, but like you can minimize it.
Right. No, that's fine. Okay, I hope everyone's doing well. We're gonna get started with our workshop today. Thank you everybody for joining. So everybody can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So as you guys know, in the month of January, our theme so far has been research and helping pre-dental students and honestly anybody try to get into research and know like the different fundamentals of it, how it goes as you like as an Ontario student or just a student in Canada. And we provided you with different resource guides on our Instagram with different posts of different opportunities you can get into, such as research practicum, grants you can get with NSERC or Dura, and as well things that you can do amongst yourselves and your community and how you can apply those tips to pretty much everything. So our theme has been research, and research is a great experience that can be really beneficial for improving your applications to dental school. And we want you guys to be able to stand out amongst your competitors. So additionally, it can create passive interest for you in the field of research, and undergraduate students who choose to change their career paths in the long run benefit a lot from getting into different research positions. You gain different experiences and learn a lot just through creating your resume and networking and everything like that. In this event, we're going to be discussing how research can improve your resume and overall application for professional schools such as dentistry, medical school, or master's programs. As well, we want to share with you how undergraduate students can find yourselves in a research position without any prior experience. There are many different paths and resources that can lead to a research position, and we're going to be discussing some of these within this workshop today. Our purpose is to familiarize you with the ways in which a research position can be sought and obtained, and in the hopes that we can see you partake in this field yourself. We want to take this information and create your own plan with landing a research position by hearing different experiences from fellow undergraduate students. Today, we're going to be having 4 different students come and talk with us and share their research involvement with you, and you'll have the opportunity to ask your questions toward the end. So Bright Future Dentist is a student-run pre-dental organization that is dedicated to helping students on their path to dentistry. Through guest speakers, workshops, and community service, field trips, and much more, we aim to equip students with knowledge and insight into the field of dentistry and create a place for pre-dental students to form friendships and network with each other. So we're going to start this workshop off today. Sorry, guys. With joining us on Discord. We have our Discord channel up and running right now, so you guys can join it. This link is good for a week right now, but just keep an eye out in our link tree in our Instagram bio if you haven't joined yet. And weekly, I'm going to be changing that server link so you guys can join us. We have study sessions on there, and we're soon going to be holding events on there. It's a place for you guys to network amongst yourselves and meet other pre-dental students as well. And we're going to be sharing our resources and event updates on there as well for you. So make sure you join with this link right here. We also have our WhatsApp group chats where you can get updates on all of our events and information that we're going to be letting out. But we are mainly going to be having everything on Discord and our Instagram pages. But if you are a first year pre-dental student, you can join with the link on the left. And if you would like to become a general member, you can fill in the application form in our Instagram link tree. And then also you can join the group chat right here. We have an opportunity for you guys to actually get involved with our team right now. And I'm going to be talking about it a little bit at the end, but it's kind of like an apprenticeship program where you can join as a general member and gain even more volunteer hours. And in fact, today with joining our workshop, you can gain volunteer hours as well. So I just wanted to say a quick disclaimer before we get into the rest of this workshop. Everything we say here today is through the experience of students and like our fellow students who are going to be sharing their experience here. It's not necessarily like factual information or anything that we're telling you to be taken like exactly. Like advice can change throughout the years, and just in general with different schools and applications and just different research positions within themselves, they want different things. So it is us helping you and guiding you through this and giving you guys the best advice that helped us, but more so for you guys to also keep in mind to like kind of check the places you are applying to and get the right information. But we're going to be talking about that later as well with like our advice and everything. So this is the outline of the topics of what the workshop will be today. I'm going to pass it off over to Sormet. I'm really excited to start this workshop, and thank you so much again for attending today. Sormet, the stage is all yours.
Hi guys, I'm Sormay. Thank you guys for coming, and thank you Shami for that wonderful introduction. I am unmuted, right? Yes, okay. I'm just on my phone, so it's a bit new to me. Sorry about that. So today, basically, I want to talk to you guys like really quickly about like why you should research, like how to get started with it, how to like build on your already accumulated experiences, and what topics are beneficial for you to get involved with, and some general recommendations that I have for you to just generally improve on in order to gain a research position, and just like in your general academic life, it'll help you. So we can go on to the first slide. And then at the end, there's a Q&A with all our smart students. So yeah, and including me, I'm just calling myself smart. I have to gas myself up. I'm nervous. So basically, why should you research? Are you crazy? Like it's hard. Why should you do this to yourself? So research is a great experience to put on an application for dental school. It looks really good on your resume, and it helps you, like it helps to show your character. So basically, having this experience really like, okay, I don't want to read off my script because I always get distracted by my script. So basically having this position kind of shows that you have knowledge about the science field in a more applied and professional setting. So having the research position really shows that like somebody trusted you with their experiments, and it looks really good. It kind of is a badge to your knowledge and how much experiences you've accumulated through your educational career. And also it just shows that you're a person who is willing to like search for getting a research position. Everyone that's sitting on the interview board in the dental schools, they know how hard it is to get a research position, and it shows your character and how determined you are, and like how much you've looked for this position when they see it on your resume and they see you have applied yourself in your research. If you have a publication with the professor, it just like overall makes you look much more responsible and experienced. Sorry, I'm looking at Shami's script. That's why I got confused, but okay. The next part is that research gives you a leg up once you're in your dental school. No, not the next slide. So when you go into dental school, you're gonna take a lot of lab courses. So like not a lot, but pretty much like some really difficult lab courses, so I've heard. And when you're already practicing this in like a laboratory beforehand, it really like puts you as the above your other classmates, and you can spend your time in other places. So like you could get a part-time job in a dental office, or you can spend more time studying or relaxing, like however you like. And also doing research is so much fun, and you gain a lot of perspective on your future career. So laboratory experiments, like you've probably all done them. They're actually a lot of fun. You get to like play with so many different reagents and do so many experiments, and even like the most repetitive things, there's always some excitement in it, even if it's mundane and you do it every day, like splitting cells. But I've learned that throughout the time, you actually gain a lot of like perspective, not perspective, but you learn a lot of like different methods of how to split cells properly or things like that. And other than that, you also gain a lot of perspective. Okay, so for example, me, I've learned that maybe I'm not so good at being in a research laboratory, just because in the lab, you're always alone with your experiments. It requires you to do a lot of like self-reading and keeping up to date with the newest improvements in the science field, like genetics research, all kinds of side research that would relate to your topic. And personally, I don't find like reading lots of research articles the most fun task. I love interacting with people. I love talking and helping and just being in a big group and always like running. And the research position really just gives you a lot of free time to read and write different protocols, which wasn't like my forte. So it gave me a lot of insight on like who I am and what I like. And the last topic is that it's actually a good backup in case graduate school, like dental school, doesn't work out. You can always go into like another molecular biology degree just to like have another layer of like knowledge, which puts you at an advantage over other dental school applicants. So I know a lot of people, even from medical school, if they don't end up getting in on their first try, they'll go to like a graduate school degree like molecular biology or microbiology, something like that. And they have to like write like a little thesis to graduate, and they're working in a lab. So having this experience in your undergrad really gives you insight on like if this is an option for you, or if you would, it would improve your chances of getting into dental school or not. Okay, next slide. And basically, so this slide is supposed to tell you, so when you're starting out and looking for a first research position, but you don't have research experience, which was me. And so I think this is really good for people who like, I think the best way, like the most idealistic way to like start on your research and academic path is to do this stuff when you're in high school, or like really like beginning of your first year. But of course, everyone's on their own journey, but this is like being like Sorma the perfectionist. Start this in high school. Like, so basically how to build your resume. You can do volunteering in laboratories and hospitals and health related, anything health related. So basically for doing volunteering in a lab or in a health related field, I think you would need probably a connection, because it's still hard to get even a volunteer position in a laboratory. But it would be nice even if you could shadow somebody in the lab. Like if you have a family member or somebody that does some research, you can go in and see what they're doing, gain some perspective, gain some understanding, and like even put that on your resume, like shadowed a PhD student or like a graduate student. Like it's still like something that gives you more like, I don't know, credit or something for when you apply for a research position. And you can even like volunteer at hospitals. You could do like, you know, meal tray delivery. I did that. Or like a waiting room. I don't know, like the patients who are like going in for surgery, the family stays in the waiting room and you get to like talk to them and calm them down kind of. So like that's still good. Gives you some experience. And also it's really good to take some courses that give you like theoretical background. So any lab courses in university, for example, I took a biochemistry lab course, or like field courses where you can go like for environmental biology, you can go in and like, I'm not really sure what they do, but I've heard they're good. Maybe you should not take my word about like what exactly they are, but do your research. And it's really good to do co-op, especially in high school, because it's much easier there. And like you can either shadow or like help in the lab again. And there's also like jobs that would help you get a research position, such as like working in a pharmacy, working in like a pills factory or something like that, or like a dental receptionist. All these jobs are like health related and need you to have a lot of attention to detail, especially like the pharmaceutical jobs. You have a lot of like interaction with pills and chemicals, which you'll encounter again kind of in the lab. So it's good experience. Next slide. I promised I would keep this brief, but it's getting long. I'm going to stop talking soon. How to find a placement. Basically, this is basically like after you've accumulated some things on your resume, where can you go to like get a research position? So for example, I'm in a research practicum, and research practicum is like a course, a 0 credit course you take at York University, and you have to find your own professor and you apply with them to this course, and you get to volunteer in their lab and do hands-on practice and like do little things around the lab until you improve. And then you can either get like a research thesis with this professor, which I'm not really thinking of doing, but a lot of people continue to do that because it's a more legitimate like position. And yeah, basically you just volunteer, and it's really nice. If you have something in your school like that, you should do that too. I really recommend it. The other position is NSERC, USRA, DURA, and other grants. So this is basically a government grant, like of I think $6,000 or $7,000 that they give to a certain number of students, and you apply again with a professor that you have to find on your own. And it's like a summer position where you get paid to kind of work in the lab, and you have your own. Ariba will tell you more about this, Ariba and Eliza, but you have your own little project that you do alongside the professor's research, and at the end of the year you do a presentation about it. And this is just a bonus for whoever attended this workshop. Let me see how many people there are. 19 people. Good for you. This is my little bonus because I literally found out about this a couple of hours ago. I have this in my resource guide, but I didn't know that they're still doing it this year. So the STEM Indicum research competition is also a good opportunity for you to like just try out and like practice writing applications, even if it doesn't work out. That's how I practice writing applications to get a research position. So basically, I don't completely remember this, but there's like a list of professors. You get to read about what they do, and you pick like your top 5 choices, and you have to write this really long application, like a paragraph and then another paragraph and then 5 other paragraphs. So then it really like helps you work on your writing skills. And I'm not sure if it's just a summer position or like a whole year position. That one might be just like based on what the professor accepted. So that was a bonus. And then there's also the Ray position, research at York, and this is kind of like a job. So it's kind of like NSERC, but it's like year round or summer. It depends on the professor again. And these are really rare, and they usually come out like I want to say like either January or March. January for like the winter term, or like even in the summer, and March for the summer. So those are the times you should really look at the Career Center website where they post all of these positions. And they usually require more experience from you. Like they require like a couple labs and a couple of months in the lab, or like other things. That's why I never applied for them in the beginning, because I didn't have any experience. So that one requires you to have some experience. And there's other summer research positions that if you just search online, you can find lots of them. Like some in UFD and other universities offer some of these, and it's nice for you to like apply for them just to try out, just to see like if they'll accept you. Sometimes the pool is very small, and even if you have no experience, you might get in, so it'll be good. And there's other like places you can look after you have some experience. You can do some job searches on like Google, and there's like Sick Kids, WHO, UN, North York General, and different places in UFT where you can find professors, email them, or there's just job postings and you can apply for them. But this usually requires you to have some background experience. And next slide. And so if you want to learn more about all of this, we have our wonderful social media team, and our content team has put lots of posts on Instagram for you and resource guides that you can check out. And also keep asking your questions here if you have any. But yeah, they're all on our Instagram, and you should know, Bright Future Dentist, follow us. So basically, I know that a lot of people that want to get research always think, yeah, I need some really sciencey research, like in physiology or microbiology, like any like chemistry, biology, some like fancy sciencey things like that. But the thing is, like, you don't specifically, if that doesn't interest you, that's not what you have to do. That's not what looks good. And like anything, I'm not saying anything looks good, but like anything that you've actually taken part of and been interested in looks really good on your dental school resume, because it kind of complements your personality. And when you go into an interview or you're writing a dental school, like personal statement or something, they want to see like a well-rounded person. Like they want to know your personality. And if you're writing about something that you're not passionate about, then it kind of comes off in the writing, or when you're speaking, it kind of sounds like you're faking it. So it's always like good to be interested in something. And like, I wrote a whole list of things that relate to dentistry. It's not just like blood science and pills that you need to worry about as a dentist. There's all kinds of things, like when you're making a tooth, it's like art, it's sculpting. You have to like be really good with your hands. So even if you like worked in, I don't know, like I personally have some experience in this when like I worked with my mom, because she loves to do like construction and like putting up drywall and things. So you build up like, you know, upper body strength, or like you get like perspective on like how you're supposed to put things up on the wall. Even sewing really helped me before like the PAT portion of that. When you're sewing, you have to be like, oh my God, this piece of fabric that looks nothing like a t-shirt has to become a t-shirt. Like, what am I supposed to attach to what? So even if you have like a sewing job or something, you can always relate it to like dentistry. Even like interior design, you need to have a nice office. People that come to dentists are usually like loaded, so they want to come somewhere that looks nice. Even like that's something you can partake in, like even getting a job there. The most important research topic that people forget is psychology. When you're coming into the dentist office, you're probably going to be in so much like psychological distress, right? Because someone's going to be putting a huge drill in your mouth and you're scared, and it's going to be bloody, and they're going to put a needle in your mouth too. Like, does it get any worse? You know what I mean? So like, you're supposed to be very like good at communicating and understanding people and being able to like soothe them and calm them, and anything in the psychological like feeling, that aspect helps too. And what else was I going to say? Oh, even technology and coding. Like, I'm very bad at that, but I'm trying to like become more interested in that. Like, there's lots of different technologies and machines that are coming out for dentists. Like, imagine if you could create like a drill that doesn't make such a loud sound. I would buy that for like however much money just to get my own teeth fixed. Or like a numbing system that doesn't require a huge needle, just like a patch or something, and you take it off and it goes away. Like, all of this stuff is so cool. Like engineering, like all of that is cool. Or like coding, you have to code systems to like keep patient information. What else? I can keep going. I can go on for days about these things that are related. It's just based on like what you're interested in. Don't think research, oh, let's go and play with some hydrochloric acid and I don't know, something like that. No, it's not like that. It's just partake in some research or anything that you are interested in. Yeah, that was it for me. And oh, my recommendations. Oh, I'll be quick with the recommendations. That's the next slide. So my recommendations. What did I even say? Oh yeah, I was saying invest time in improving your resume and cover letter. That's still my main struggle, because writing a good cover letter really like is the most important thing, I think, because they're going to be reading that cover letter, and like if sometimes they'll be lazy and they don't want to read the full thing, or when you're reading it like and then the person doesn't sound cool or something, they sound uninterested, or they're trying to like write something fast just so like they can mass email a bunch of professors, it comes off in that cover letter. So you really need to spend time, like when you're writing it, be like, hey, the professors, whatever, I'm really interested in your research. I read these papers. Wow, this research is so cool. And I've done this job, and this is how my life relates to your research. And I really want to partake in it. Like, just show like that you actually know what the research is about, not just bullshitting. Sorry for my words, but don't just barf a bunch of letters and mass email it to some people, because that just like, it just looks bad on you anyways. Even if they kind of remember your name, it'll be bad for you because they'll be like, oh, it's that person that didn't care about my lab. And these people have devoted their lives to this research. So that's like really not good for you. And also your resume, you need to really like make sure to consult somebody, even like your university or upper year students, about writing a good resume, because I didn't know this either till last year. And I didn't have anything about my education in there. So for example, if you're gonna apply for a lab, it's really important that you like include, oh, I took this lab course, or I took this biochemistry course, because it shows that you know something. Like the professor doesn't know, like probably doesn't know what your educational background is, or like what your grade was. Like if you got an A+ in biochemistry, girl, put that on that resume. He needs to see that. That professor needs to see that. Like that's a big go, like that's a big thumbs up. They'll be like, wow, this person's probably really smart. Uh-oh, my battery's running out. That's not good. And yeah, that was and also like other parts of your resume, it should look cohesive. It should have the right dates. Like it should just look neat, because even the fact that it looks neat tells a lot about you. Like you put care and effort into this. You're like a perfectionist, which is what kind of they need in the lab. Attention to detail is really important. And also improve your communication skills, speaking, writing, social interactions, and body language. So I know a lot of people from like some close friends I've seen that have lost some positions because they've just been like shy, or they haven't presented themselves well in the position that they've gained. And this is not just for your research position. This is anywhere, like shadowing, any professional setting. You need to go and like be well-dressed. You need to have like lively body language. Like when you're talking to the professor, don't be like don't look at them or something. Like be confident, like speak, tell them what you're thinking. When you have a question, don't be afraid to ask. It looks worse for you if you're like in your research for 6 months and you don't know what the heck you're doing, compared to like you ask a million questions in the beginning and people might hate you for it, but then you'll be really improved by the end of it. Not like ask dumb questions either, you know what I mean? Like ask the good questions. The questions you can look for or read about, don't ask those. But it's good to be confused. It's right to be confused, and people will appreciate it. But yeah, that was my 2 cents of information. I think now is the time for the Q&A to begin.
So Ariba and Eliza are going to be joining really soon. I just told them to hop on right now. You guys had some questions in the chat that I know will go towards Sorme. So we're going to begin Sorme's like experience with research involvement.
Oh, sure. I did not see the questions in the chat, but if you guys want to even unmute and ask your questions, that's totally cool too. Oh, someone said I'm killing it. Oh my God, thank you.
No, you did amazing. Thank you so much, Sorme. I just wanted to
Thank you, guys.
give a little like round of applause.
Guys,
you. Listen to her, honestly. Like she's been killing it right now in like her research practicum, and she always tells me about it, and it's really interesting to hear. And to be honest with you, like I'm planning on maybe soon applying for research like as well myself. And these are all really good tips, just because like I know a lot of my friends get into research and everything, and this is like about how they did it. Doreen herself told me about how she got into research, and like these are really great tips that I know partially she utilized as well. But yeah.
I guess I could go first, since Ariba and Eliza are still in the process of joining. Or I don't know, Doreen, do you want to go first? Because I've been talking so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, let Doreen go.
Sure, I can go. So hi everyone, my name is Doreen. I'm a 3rd-year kinesiology student here at York University, and I actually made a video that we ended up posting on our Instagram about how I got my research position. So I'm going to be repeating some of that information. I'm sorry if you guys already watched that video, but basically the way I went about getting my research position was a lot simpler than the approach that most people take. I just sent out emails to a bunch of researchers whose research interested me. And I particularly wanted to see if I would be able to get a research position at U of T's Faculty of Dentistry, because I thought that would be helpful in my dental school applications. So I went to the faculty directory of University of Toronto's website, and I just basically read through everybody's research and their lab involvements, and I emailed a whole bunch of them that I thought I could be of help within their labs. And eventually I got an email back from one of the faculty members, and they basically offered me a position as a summer student. And I've been volunteering past my summer deadline because I guess they liked my work ethics. But basically I do a whole bunch of stuff. This is a very big laboratory, so they have multiple projects going on at the same time. Like they have 7 to 8 projects that they're working on at like one time. So I'm not involved with every single one of them, but the one project that I've been kind of participating in is this project where they discovered this new bacteria called Salivarius 10. And basically what they found is that this bacteria actually produces its own antibacterial properties against certain bacteria that can cause gingivitis for your teeth. So they're trying to basically extract this bacteria and make a new antibiotic so that they can hopefully sell it in the market. So that's a project that I've been involved with. And aside from that, I do maintenance stuff in the lab, such as like filling in pipette tips or autoclaving any stuff that's been used. I try my best to help as much as I can around the lab. I just run around and ask everybody, what do you need done? What do you need done? And I just try to show that I'm helpful and I would do anything that I'm asked. But yeah, that's how I went about getting my research position. It's been really good so far, and I'm glad to give any tips as to how you can approach these professors, how you can email them, how you can word your emails, or what you can attach in your emails, so that to show that you are like a multifaceted person and a good candidate basically for them to pick out.
That's really cool.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna pass it on to Sorma. You can share your experience. Oh, Ariba's here too, actually.
Oh, Ariba's here. Hi, Ariba.
Hello, so nice to be here. Everyone looks so good in this slide. Oh my gosh.
Thank you for coming. I'm so excited that you're here.
Anything for bright future dentists.
So Ariba, I did the presentation. I've been talking a lot. So if you'd like to go ahead and like talk about your research too, you go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So I guess I'll start with like how I got my position and got involved in the first place. So a couple of years ago, so when I was in first year, I was trying really hard to get a research position, and I felt like no one could give me a straight answer on how to do that because most people just didn't know. So it was really frustrating at first. Like, trust me, I know. I like sent out a bunch of emails, and I got like 2 interviews. So like one of them I thought was a sure thing, but then in the end, like about 3 weeks later, the prof was like, I thought the interview went really good. Like I thought we connected, but then the prof was like, she went with like some older students who were eligible for applying for NSERC Dura because that year first years couldn't apply. So trust me, like I know how it feels when you're just sending out emails and you're not getting those responses. And then the other position I got, it wasn't really something I was interested in. A friend recommended like a professor in the kinesiology department, and that's not like right up my alley. And I was doing more like data analysis. So it could have led to something else like clinical research, but it kind of wasn't my thing. But then I got lucky in that I went to this in-person event during reading week. And it was like a opportunity for chemistry and biochemistry profs to talk about their research, and then there was like a lab tour component. So then profs were going to take undergrads up to their labs, and I really wanted to see how all of that worked. And I also heard it was a really good networking event to get research positions. So like I went there and it ended up going really well. So I joined a lab, and it was like a lab that I feel like is a perfect fit for me because I like both bio and chemistry. So it's like really interdisciplinary in that way. And I think another thing that you should always consider when you're finding a research position is how the lab environment is. And I feel like people don't really talk about this, but yeah, you have to make sure you're also interested in the research, but like also take a look at the environment. Like, does everyone seem friendly? Like, does it seem like the lab does like outings together? Like, are the undergrads like satisfied with their experience? Because I've heard really good undergrad experiences as well as undergrads that felt like they didn't really get the mentorship they wanted. So it's really important. I feel like actually the lab I joined, I was talking to an undergrad who wouldn't stop talking about how amazing her research position is. And it was the same prof that I ended up with. So I already had like that in my mind that it was like a really good working environment, like somewhere I would like to be. Um, but then again, like in first year, you really just want to get your foot in the door. So like you don't have to commit to something long term. So I know that's like contradictory advice, but I think for something you're gonna stay in for a long time, you want to make sure you actually like are a good fit for that lab. Um, so for me, then my second year, I applied for NSERC Dura and without any expectations that I did end up getting an NSERC last year. So in the summer of my second year, I did that. And I feel like that's really where, like I went from just shadowing grad students every now and then to like actually when you get a summer research scholarship, you're supposed to have your own independent, thanks guys, like own independent project. So you're supposed to like eventually get to the point where you can carry out like all those steps by yourself because like a grad student can't always be with you to do a project because they have their own projects. So that was like the hugest learning curve for me because in second year I wasn't really allowed to go in person. Like I would do like lit reviews and stuff from home and I would join the lab meetings. But I kind of like even forgot how to pipette. So when I went in for my first day, I was like really, really nervous. But I went from like not knowing that basic like first year skill, like I needed a refresher to like even after a month I was like independent enough to like plan out my day and like be able to do things myself. So like from someone who felt like I wasn't very good hands-on, I was actually able to learn with good mentorship. And like I think everyone has that fear because so many people who I know are starting like research, they text me and they're like really scared that they're not going to be good with hands-on stuff, but like don't worry because I like literally everyone feels like that. So I know I keep going on side like tangents, but like just gonna briefly say what my research was. So like as the slide says, I was in a biochem lab, and I'm working on DNA technology. It's called like the technology is called aptamers. So aptamers are like in the future, hopefully they will replace antibodies in a lot of applications. And I'm working on like their kind of biomedical usages. So our lab was able to like DNA and nucleic acids are originally thought of just like information storage, like they encode for like our traits. But the prof that I work with kind of like functionalizes them to give them like other properties so they can actually perform useful functions in our body. Like maybe some of you like in your bio courses have heard that like RNA can work like in actually like gene expression silencing and stuff. So a nucleic acid is usually not thought of as anything like beyond like information storage. But like our lab kind of diversifies nucleic acids to bind to targets and do like medical applications such as like just like antibodies would. Like for example, the most popular aptamer that our lab has evolved binds to like a blood clotting factor to eventually hopefully be used like to prevent like blood clotting, right? So I was kind of working on my own version of that, like using modifications that we've never done. And then you know, like the type of skills that I've done might be things that you learned in Bio 1000. Like I do a lot of gels. I'm gonna forget everything I do. We actually have like this machine called a DNA synthesizer where we just type in a sequence and like it actually makes those like I didn't know that was a thing, but it actually makes those sequences. And then I do like binding analyses with like proteins and then DNA sequencing, like chromatography, HPLC purification. So maybe some of those things sound like familiar, but those are things that I've done or am currently going to learn in the process of learning. But yeah, so like it's been a great experience and I really recommend that everyone like just shoots their shot, just like cold email props even, but make the emails really personalized. I'm sure like Sorme and Shamim and everyone organizing this event already said this stuff, but yeah, so like that's all I have to say. I'm sorry if I talk for like a really long time, but that's the only thing I have to say.
No, we appreciate it. We want to hear it. Thank you so much. That's actually so cool. I feel like that's the first time I've actually heard like fully what your research is about too, other than like the presentation, like the answer presentation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
That like formal conference talk is not the same. I feel like.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that too. But like my research experience has not been as interesting as Ariba's or Doreen's. Like I've been kind of just on the sides just because my lab we're like kind of stuck with our reagents. Like I don't know what's going on, but like our plasmids keep failing and like a lot of things keep happening and like push the research like really back. So I keep just doing the same things on repeat. So I haven't really like gone like further into the research than like just splitting cells just because we're all just doing the same thing. So basically, I'm doing a research practicum with Dr. Shai, like Mike Shai, and I've been there for the past like 9 months. I started in this summer, and his research, he's the molecular biologist. I'm literally not speaking properly, but he's a molecular biologist, and he's investigating the MAP kinase pathway right now. I think you guys know what that is. Like, it's like that huge pathway that kind of relates to like cell division, and it's related to cancer or tumor production, or like cancerogenic cells. Honestly, like, I'm not super informed about our research, so I feel really bad. This is like my big problem, that like I'm really confused with like exactly what we're doing with it. But I know that we're looking for a specific phosphorylation site on MEKK2, which is like this one protein in this huge pathway. And we already know that there is one phosphorylation site on it, but we're looking for the other one and how that interacts with a lot of different proteins in this pathway and what it leads to. But basically, just how does it interact with certain proteins, and what does that tell us about how like a cancer cell progresses with regards to this specific protein. And yeah, basically, so like when we're doing this analysis, we have to interact with a lot of like cell cultures, which is really different from like Ariba's lab. And sometimes she comes over to my lab and she's like, "What are you doing?" I don't know. And I look at her like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Oh, like this is like cool stuff, chemistry stuff." And it's like really different. So like basically I work under like this huge hood where the cells are not allowed to touch me. They're like level 2, like contamination or whatever, level 2 or 3. And then basically I usually just split them. Like I have to take like a certain amount and like split them regularly so they don't overgrow and take over the whole like cell culture room and stuff like that. And then once our plasmids are ready, we usually like transfect the cells. So we put the plasmids in the cells, and then we kill the poor cells and extract all their proteins to see like what happened to them. Like did the MEKK2 interact with like KLD or KDL3 or something? Like what did it interact with like Western blots and things like that? And I've gotten a chance to actually make a plasmid, like not make it myself, but like design the plasmid with the mutation on a certain like spot on the gene. And then I did the whole process of like amplifying the gene. And actually my experiment worked really well, which I was even surprised with, because I remember I made a mistake which ended up actually being beneficial to us because we were doing something wrong in the protocol. And because of my mistake, we figured it out. Because like we were adding too much like DNA to the plasmids, and it was just not working, just because like it was confusing all the reagents. Like there was not enough reagents for that much DNA. So then I ended up doing something really stupid, and I didn't put enough DNA in my like tube, and then my bacteria grew like perfectly, and we're like, what is going on? And I told my grad student, yeah, I made a mistake in this. And she's like, oh, okay. And we figured it out, and then now we're on the right track. But yeah, it's lots of interesting things happen. Like even when you make a mistake, it turns out to be a discovery, so it's okay. So yeah, that's basically what I did. Oh, and how I got it, basically with the help of Ariba and Eliza. Like I owe my life to them and like my education to them, because I was like so disappointed in myself. My whole second year, I was just sending applications after applications, and I was getting rejections. I was like, oh, this is so sad, and I don't know where to look. Like I had no help. And Ariba and Eliza are like, hey, go look at the list of York professors that are doing research. And then I looked at it and I found Mike Scheid. I was like, hey, I know this prof. We're in a committee together. I might as well just email him. And I emailed him and he responded so quickly. I was so surprised. So basically, they kind of helped me look in the right places. I was just kind of randomly emailing people, like having no connections, like no real knowledge of their research. So I was doing that thing that I just told you not to do, which is mass emailing randomly. And then when I personalized it, it worked out to my benefit. And I still didn't end up getting NSERC, even though I applied for it, but I still did the research practicum, and now I have some research experience. So hopefully this year it might work out for me. Who knows?
Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, like before you were saying your research is not as interesting, but let me just say, like just the videos like Sorma sends me and stuff, her research is actually really cool. And like the reason I keep going up to her and asking her what she's doing is because like my lab is like biochem and hers is like molecular bio, like cell bio, right? So it's like so different. Like I don't even work with cells or anything like that. And I just feel like as a bio major, I need to like like see what other labs are doing too. Like I just want to see how it works. So but not that I would leave my lab. Like I love my lab. I'm so thankful. Like I'm gonna stay here like literally until I can. But like I just wanted to see what Summer's doing because it looks so cool and like we do different techniques. And also just because like she's right beside me, it's so nice having like a friend in the lab right beside you. It was such a big coincidence too. So yeah, it's really nice. And also you got that research position because of your good grades and skills. Don't underplay yourself.
No, but you guys really helped me too. That's really good. Always having good friends is always really helpful. That's why I created this club too, so we could like spread the word and help everyone. And also like, yeah, I don't think my research is uncool. I just mean I'm not as involved with the research yet. That's what I mean. Like, I think it's pretty cool. It's actually everything I've ever loved about like biology and lab research. It's all in one. Cells and Western blots and nothing to do with chemistry. Oh my God. It has to do with chemistry, but like not so much chemistry. It's not like full on. Yeah, so that's really good for me too. Like I really liked it that way. And I just like Shami, if people ask questions, I really don't know.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say, first off, I want to say thank you so much to Sarma, Doreen, and Ariba for sharing your research involvement. I had so much fun just listening to it, and I love women in STEM, so it was really nice hearing you guys' experience and everything, and it's honestly really inspiring. Your guys' take on how you applied and just what you guys do was really cool to hear, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time out to share that with us in this workshop. We did get a bunch of questions in the chat. Unfortunately, Eliza couldn't join us tonight, but maybe later on, like she can write a little thing and we can post it on our story about just what her research is about and any tips that she has. So I'm gonna get to the questions. We're gonna start off. One moment. Okay, so somebody asked, and I think this would go towards Sarma, how do you recommend reaching out and finding a supervisor for a research practicum? And somebody else also asked, the website that Sorma you use to find these professors like for research, like what that website was.
Oh, okay. So okay, I forgot the first question, but I think it was like how did you find the professor? Like how did you contact them?
Yeah, like how did you like get into the research practicum?
Oh, so basically this is like something that I recommend to a lot of people, which is like it was almost completely accidental. Not completely because I applied for it, but it was like really coincidental that I met this professor because I was not I was a part of this committee called Science Student Caucus, and I wasn't even thinking about applying to it. But then I saw like my friends, again, Eliza and Reba were like applying for it. So I was like, hey, let me apply too. And I was applying for like Bethune then, and I was completely on another track. I was trying to become like really social and like be involved with like student communities and things like that. And my life took a whole different turn when I joined Science Student Caucus. It was still the same topic, but I just thought it was more like helping students rather than penalizing students, because I ended up joining SEAS, which is the Senate of Academic Honesty and Misconduct. So basically whoever used Chegg or like cheated would come to this committee and I would be punishing them. And I was like, oh God, I'm not helping anyone. Anyways, it was beneficial for me in a way because I learned about Senate policy, and I also got in contact with a lot of cool professors at York. So Dr. Scheid, Dr. Hovig, you guys probably know these professors, or like Christopher Jang, who else? Well, lots of professors, like all kinds of professors. And we actually became like really friendly just because I'm telling you, you should improve your communication skills, because I'm so like outspoken. Everybody knows this. I literally just, I'm not afraid to speak my mind. And I'm like, hey, these are the problems at York. And I would tell them, or in the meetings, I would be like, hey, there's a problem here. And then like Mike, I remember Dr. Scheid was like, oh, like this girl talks a lot. But then afterwards, he started to like me because I wasn't just talking nonsense. I actually was passionate. I wanted the students to get the fair treatment and like attention that they needed. So he kind of liked it. He's like, this girl, these people have nothing to do with her, and this is like a boring topic, but she's still taking initiative. So it kind of like I guess my personality was like likable. So then when I emailed him, I use that website. I can share with you guys, but it's basically when you go on the biology website and you like look for, I guess, professors and like their research topics, it usually comes up. Like, I don't really remember because I looked at it such a long time ago, but there, if you go to the biology department website, there should be like the list of labs that are at York and like the professors and their emails. Even if their emails in there, if you search them up, you can find their email online. And it's good to like read about their papers before you email them. But yeah, basically when I was trying to apply for NSERC, I found a bunch of professors, including Dr. Scheid, and like I read about their topics. I found it interesting. I wrote like a personalized email to them, and I got response from no one but Dr. Scheid in like 30 minutes, and I was so surprised because I didn't think like he would say yes. But yeah, I ended up applying with him, and then I didn't get NSERC. But then he said like, hey, if you still want, there's a research practicum, but like you don't get any payment, but you should still try it anyways. And like he kind of recommended it to me, and I was like, okay, cool. And it was like COVID, like summer, like last summer, still COVID was happening and campus was closed. So I had to like bug him so much. I was like, Dr. Scheid, let me come in. Dr. Scheid, let me come in. And I came in like midsummer. And yeah, it was pretty cool. Like I got to experience so many new things with my graduate student. Well, that's how it worked. Okay, I really need to get my charger, but that's my cup of tea.
I just wanted to say, basically like the website that you guys are looking for, most likely you can find that in the Research Practicum Resource Guide, which is linked in our bio on our Instagram. And just even like yourself, like with getting like in touch with like different like professors or like supervisors who have research. If you're not like necessarily like involved in anything yourself, you can just reach out to your own professors that like you're taking courses with currently or you took with in the past. More specifically, ones that like you're currently in or ones that you got a really good grade in. Just because those ones like you've already had them as a prof, right? So you have their email, you can reach out to them. And like 99% of the time in the course that you took, like they've mentioned what research they're doing or something. At least I know with all my like kin courses and everything, like they have, whether it was my anatomy course, they would say what they're doing on the side and everything. And especially I know at York University, like I think all the kin profs are required to do some kind of research. So there is somebody that like you can end up getting involved in. I will say it is hard for first and second year to get like really in touch with your professor, but once you are in upper years and you're taking more like seminar courses, that's when like the prof is engaged with you more, so you'll have like a better chance with your email. But what really helped me at least get in touch with like TAs and profs is to always go to office hours and talk to them, whether it was just me being keen and seeming like I'm sucking up to them, like it didn't matter, like I just wanted that connection with the prof. Somebody else also asked like how we find the professors to work with and what we email them about, and I can just answer that for you. You can like find the source of like what to email them about in our Research Practicum Resource Guide. And we did go over your question in the workshop, so you can see it in the recording as well. Yes, Ariba.
Hey, I just wanted to add something. Like for the what to add in the email, I think the most important thing to add is like a few sentences, like make it concise, but convey what about their research interests you. Because like if they see that you're personalizing the email towards their lab specifically, it really makes a huge difference. Like write in like 2 to 3 sentences, or maybe like 1 to 2 sentences about why you want to join their lab specifically, or like even allude to something that shows that you like checked out one of their papers, and that can go a long way. And then for emails, it's important to always add like your transcript and a resume in PDF format. So I think like those are the main things. And also it really does help to emphasize how you really want to potentially like pursue research and see how doing research is like mention that you might want to do a 4th year thesis, so that they know you're serious about research. It's not just like a check mark off your box of things to do, because like that's like a big thing that kind of scares profs away if they think like students are just there just to like check it off of their like pre-med, pre-dental list, but they want to see that you actually want to learn and like potentially pursue research. So you actually like do want to mention that as well, that like even just as a student you would like to be like committed to it.
Doreen has something to add.
So in the chat, somebody mentioned that it's their first year in university in Canada and they're not sure how to approach professors or how to convince them to take them in. Basically, everybody starts somewhere. You just have to gain research experience in order to be able to say, I have the research experience. You don't, there are professors that take in people who don't initially have any experience. You just have to reach out. You have to show them that you're hardworking, whether that's through your grades or your resume. Just show that you are basically participating in things such as volunteering, anything that could show that you're, again, a multifaceted person. Could work in the benefit of them accepting you into a research position. Just don't be afraid to reach out. There's going to be rejections for sure. I know all of us who are doing some sort of research right now have been rejected multiple times. You just have to keep trying. There's going to be that one person who really needs somebody to volunteer and work in their lab, and they're going to see the potential in you and possibly take you on. So just reach out. Don't be afraid. Make sure that in your email that you're sending to them, you're conveying that you're really interested in the field that they're working in. You're really interested in the field of dentistry. Show that you have some sort of goals for your future, as well as any experiences that you have. And I'm sure that somebody is going to reach out and take you on. That's what I have to say.
Can I just add to that? I'm more of like a logical girl. So like, I think like I really agree with Doreen, and I think people like accept you even if you don't have like a research background. But I personally would really like to be like, you know, sure. Like I want to have everything there is, like, or I don't know, like have the experience so that, you know, it's like hard proof, you know, like, hey, I have it. So like I feel better in myself. So I feel like while you're applying, I think you should apply to your like research labs and things. But when you're just starting to apply, and this is like something normal, like your writing skills and things might not be like, I don't know, it's just depends on the person. But for example, me and my writing skills were not up to par. So sometimes like I it kind of like failed at that portion because I didn't know what to include in my email, or maybe I just didn't have experience and they didn't accept me and my resume didn't look or something. But I think while you're applying, you should also try getting things that are like easier to get into. Like, for example, like hospital volunteering, they accept more people. Or I don't know, but with COVID, but I remember when I was in high school, it was pretty easy to get like a volunteer position in the hospital, or even like join clubs and start to do like little side things like this. So even if the research doesn't work out, you wouldn't be wasting your time. Because usually when you're applying for research, it's for like the summer or like for later, like it takes a while. So don't waste your time waiting for just the answer, and don't apply to like one or two places. Apply to like a million places if you can, but like effectively. Don't spam email like what I said, but also like don't just apply to like 2 or 3 people. Try to like apply regularly. And again, yeah, don't waste your time. Try to apply for like, I don't know, a job, or find some connections. Like usually if you go, even when I was in first year, I was in a club called Tech Life, and usually like school clubs or university clubs are filled with like people that have their lives together, or like they've got their lives together somehow with like information from other people. So you can approach these people and like they want to help you because they've been through it. Don't think that we're all ruthless and we want to like see you die or like see you suffer just like we did. No, we want to help. We want to like give you as much information as we can, at least me and us like in this group. I've seen some people that really don't want to do that. Like they don't want to help you, but usually people they understand because we've all gone through the same thing. So if you like approach somebody, they might be a graduate student and they'll be like, hey, yeah, I'm working in a lab right now. You can even come shadow me. Something like that. It's still getting your foot through the door. Even like family, friends sometimes can help, like you shadow them or like guide you in some way. So like reach out for help. It's not bad to ask for help. Even amazing friends, if you have someone like Ariba or Eliza, they can really help you. Like don't be afraid to reach out, and like people are nice. Because I always had bad experiences with people and I didn't want to ask anyone for help. But then when I saw like Ariba and Eliza, it's like, oh, angels from heaven, and they're helping me, and like they really picked me up, and it was really like good help for me. And other wonderful people like oh my God, Amanda, why did I forget her name? I haven't seen her in so long. I only remember her by her face and Instagram post now. And yeah, in the Tech Life team, even Sarah El Nafar, if she's hearing this, she really helped too. I'm just trying to give credit to everyone who helped me, but it's really like a team effort. Like, don't think I'm here sitting here and like I didn't get help from anyone and I just was like really cool and I got up one day and I was like, yep, I'm in research. It's not like that. It's a lot of hard work and a lot of hearing no. And I'm rambling. Someone cut me off. Someone put their hand up. I ramble a lot.
Hi. Okay. I'm helping Nasser out and giving like some of my advice in the chat. Okay. Christina said, thank you so much. This was really helpful. I'm really glad that this helped you in some type of way. We do have a bunch of questions still here. I'm gonna start. Somebody said, like, is there a recommended time frame to send these emails and stuff? Is it like the sooner the better, if they should wait until later in the term to send them, or what?
Depends.
I would suggest you send out your emails whenever you can, because different researchers take on volunteers at different times throughout the year. If anything, they're going to tell you, okay, I'm not taking volunteers right now. Email me back in March, for example. So they'll redirect you and tell you when to email them if they're not taking volunteers on right now sometimes. So I suggest you just send out your emails whenever you can and don't wait, because if you wait, you're just going to put it off and you'll never do it. That's what I did for the first 2 years. So yeah, just send them out whenever you can.
Yeah, I agree too. Just send them out. And the professors, like even like with me, like Dr. Shahid kind of just told me what to do. He said, okay, NSEC didn't work out. Here's something I recommend, because they know stuff too. If they like you and like they find you like enthusiastic, they'll probably try to help you out in some way. Again, they've been through this, you know, like they're trying to help too.
I just want to add, like right now is especially a good time to reach out, since NSERC Dura applications are going to come out like any day now. We're all just like waiting for them. So like a lot of people just end up contacting profs like during this moment. And like a lot of profs, like they want to get an opportunity to get students who are paid and they don't have to pay them themselves, you know, because like the government or York is paying most of that money. So like profs are very willing to take on students during this time. And it's a really great time to start sending out emails, like make it a priority even.
I wanted to ask something to Ariba. What do you think is like maybe one of the driving factors that really helped you with your NSERC application?
That's a really good question. So I feel like so many people apply and a lot of people do have good grades. So I think like your personal statement adds a really good, like it really puts you in front of other people if you can demonstrate a few things in your personal statement. So like what I saw was they actually sent supervisors things that they're looking for. And there was like 3 of those things. And let's see if I can remember those. I think one of them was like demonstrating that you're a good fit for that lab and that you have a genuine interest in that research. So in order to show this, like you can summarize like what your project will be. So it's actually important to be in contact with your supervisor enough for you to like know what the research proposal is that he or she wrote. Because if you don't know this, your professor writes one part of the application and you write another. So your prof is going to write like a research proposal on your behalf. And my prof sent me that like so much in advance. Like I did mine like a few days before it was due, but he did his like a month before it was due. So then I was able to read that and he set up a meeting with me. So like I asked questions, like he explained my project to me. And I think that was such a big help because I was able to summarize it in my own words and like show like that it was a really good fit for me. I also mentioned relevant courses that I took. So like I mentioned that I excelled in like biochem, for example. Now that if you're an upper year student, you can mention like more courses that you took that are directly related to that research. So I think that's number one, showing that you're a really good fit. And even say like just you can tell it's a great environment in terms of mentorship, like I said, things like that. Like I could tell that this was an environment where I would receive really good mentorship. I've been to lab meetings. So, you know, saying that type of stuff if you can. So once you talk to a prof, like ask if you can start attending lab meetings, because these are things you can mention in your personal statement. And as well, if you don't think, because they weigh you on your research aptitude. So if you think like you don't have previous research experience, that's another way to show your research aptitude. Like just saying that you read literature for that lab, like you're able to understand what's going on. So I think that's a big thing. And then they tell you to also mention like what skills will you bring. So like you can demonstrate that you're good at time management. Like maybe you're doing extracurriculars while managing a full course load, like show your willingness to learn. And I think another really big thing is like making your personal statement fun to read. Because like originally when I wrote mine, I felt like it was more on the formal side. And then I actually asked two students who I know they were graduating and they got an answer before. And I asked, like, one of them replied to me in time and she sent me her personal statement that got her an NSERC award. And I noticed that she tried to make it really creative. Like, she was saying things like, ever since I was little, the human body captivated me, like saying things like that, that kind of added a personal touch. So like I kind of try to do the same thing. And I think since they really want to give those awards to people who they want them to become future scientists. Like I know most of you guys here want to become dentists, but like I think it's really good to emphasize how much you want to get involved in research. Maybe even as a dentist, you can pursue research in the future, right? So like you could say things like one day you want to make contributions of your own to the scientific community. Say things like that because you have to understand that why are these awards made? They're made to like bring up future scientists. Like that's what they want. They're trying to weed out people who are just getting these awards to get into like a professional school. They want people who are genuinely like excited about research. So like keep that in mind while writing your personal statement.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. I think like people pretty much asked like all their questions. I still had like some questions that I think could like be really great. They're pretty quick answers too. But this can go for each of you that like you think you can jump out and answer. But oh, Nasser actually asked, is there a specific website where I can apply for volunteering in uni? And thank you for your help. Do you guys know any like specific websites?
I think YU Connect is a good place to start. It just like has a list of all the official pubs at York, and then you could search them up on Instagram after.
Oh yeah, you can volunteer with clubs and everything, like of course, and by going to the events, just like how we're doing here. But I would say like reach out to just places in your community, like your local dental office, your local walk-in clinic, or just like your profs, like I mentioned before. Ask around your friends, be like, hey, where do you volunteer? And just apply to that same place, you know? Those are really good ways. So I was gonna ask, is there a mistake that you guys made with your research application, maybe that was probably looked over, but like something that you learned from?
Can I add to that previous thing just really quickly? I think some of the things that I really found helpful depends on like your location, but Facebook group chats, sometimes people post volunteering things there, usually more in small towns. Another thing is good is that like there's like lots of food drives and things like that. Like those are still cool. Like those are really cool. If they were close to my house, I would really do it. But like I couldn't find a lot of volunteering places in North York that were open at the time when I was like applying for volunteering. But like there's like City of Toronto and things like that. They do like different volunteering, even reaching out to like new refugees or new immigrants. I would personally really love to do that to like help students that have just come to Canada. They don't know the complicated system of like how you get accepted to school here. It's not just good grades, it's all those different things. And like, you know, like you could apply to that too, and use that something, yeah. Or and also check Bright Future Dentists stories, because we always like find health related volunteering, which is like so hard to find. Like I could never find these things in like first and second year, but now there's all kinds of vaccine drives and like different packaging things, and we try to like find it and share it with you on the story.
I also wanted to add to that. You could also check out the website for your specific college. For example, my college is Stone College because I study kinesiology. Yours might be Bethune or Calumet or whatever. They usually have volunteer positions as well that they usually post the spots that they have available and you just have to apply. So I suggest you check out your college's website as well.
Mm-hmm. And also just to answer Shamu's questions, I made so many mistakes in my research application. Like, I don't know, like every time I read it, like, I don't know if you guys keep your things and read them later, but every time I go through my educational career or something, I go back to it, I'm like, what the heck did I write? Like, how dare I send this? Like, who wrote this? Was this me? And then like, I look so ashamed of myself, but like, it shows that I've grown, at least that's good. But I know like my biggest problems is that like sometimes I become too informal. That's my problem. I'm never formal enough. and I end up like not in like including important details or explaining it well. Like, you know how you write a sentence, it really like you can either pack it with information or it could just be like 5 sentences and they just like they could have just been formed into one sentence. Like that's my problem. Like I ramble when I could just say a one nice, beautiful, concise sentence, which also shows how well read you are, which I am not well read and I'm trying to read more books. But that's like a big thing with me. That's always been my Achilles heel is writing and reading, because I don't read books. I do, but I only read like textbooks, like school books. Oh, here's this fact. There's no like literature or like scientific articles. I don't read those. I read really like condensed like things like that. So that's always been my problem. So if you improve your writing, I feel like it really helps.
Yeah, I was gonna add to that. I think in my first year when I was trying to find a research position, I would just send out mass emails, like Sorma said, to different profs at York. And I would just basically say, yeah, blah, blah, I'm a kinesiology student. I'm looking for research. Do you have any positions available? Something along the lines of that. And looking back, I realized why none of them answered me. So when you send out emails, make sure that they explain what it is that you're looking for, explains your interests, and make it seem as if you're like wholesome. I don't know, like you have some sort of passion towards the specific research or like a career goal that you're trying to attain. Don't make it too general, make it specific to their specific research, and that would help you out. I was really bad with writing stuff out. So I think that's my main mistakes that I made in my first year. I would just write short paragraphs to these profs and nobody would answer me. So make sure you get help with the emails that you're sending. Ask your friends, show your script to people, ask them their opinions. And when you have like a full script and you think it's perfect, then start sending it out to profs, because that will increase your chances of getting a position as well.
I completely agree what Doreen and Sarma is saying, because I think just even like getting your friends to check over your personal statement or emails makes the biggest difference. Like I asked a bunch of people to check over my personal statement, and I know like a lot of my friends, like we ask each other to check over things, and there's always good feedback. Like if you have friends that are real ones, they're gonna like tell you things you can add to improve it and stuff. So I think that's a big thing that a lot of people make a mistake on for their applications, like not asking for feedback.
Thank you.
Also,
Guys.
another thing, sorry, Shannon, just before you
Okay.
ask the next question, I was just gonna say, another thing that would really help you is that if they, again, like if you had the previous connection with the professor, so like if you've already known them through like class or something, and like you show up to class, ask questions. I feel like in my first year, I swear, if I asked any of those professors, because like people knew me by name, Paula Wilson, she brought the mic to my mouth and she's like, "What is your name?" to the whole lecture hall, just because I was like having an 8 a.m. lecture and I was like so awake, asking like a million questions. And she's like, "Girl, who are you?" And she made me say my name to the whole classroom. So I bet like even if I asked her then, if I had the courage, she would have definitely accepted me. But be that girl, be that annoying person that always asks questions, because then it like intrigues profs, like wonder what's wrong with her, or like even like, oh, she's cool. But probably they thought what's wrong with her, because like why is she asking so many questions and making jokes to like a 500-person lecture hall?
Those
That's
are all
what I
really
love about Sorme. Like she's so like confident and just like talking. But I feel
Yeah.
like getting involved in campus and stuff has like really improved that aspect of me too. But before I would just like listen in class. Like I wouldn't really talk, but that does go a long way.
Yeah. You know, and like this communication skills, it doesn't come in 1 or 2 days. Like I personally wasn't a person that would like go out with my family. Like my family is not that big. And like we were just like me, my mom, and my dad. So I never had those talking skills. But starting from like middle school and high school, I started joining like Eco Club or like UNICEF, Me to We. And I actually ended up like going to India one time. And to go to India, I wanted to fundraise for my trip. So that's when it all started. That's like where it all started, girl. Like I was like, oh, now I need to go talk to people to get their money. Like, where do I even start? But that's how I like my ice broke and I started to become brave and like speak, and you know, everything just worked from there.
The clubs that you just mentioned, like Me to Be and UNICEF, those were like the high school essential, like Eco Club.
Yeah.
Those were the essential clubs in high school.
Yeah. But like, how do you have talked to so many people and they haven't like joined any clubs in high school? They're like, are you crazy? You're supposed to go party and have fun. Where were you in clubs? But I'm like, girl, I didn't have friends.
I'm guilty of that too. Like in high school, I wasn't like I would just like want to go home or like chill with my friends. Like I didn't have much school spirit, to be honest. But now look at me.
Ariba's so involved. She's like in every club. It's like she's a president in every club, I swear.
No, that's not true.
Okay, it's about 9:30 now, so we've reached like the hour mark. But I just wanted to say thank you so much. We haven't gotten any new questions and everybody pretty much said thank you. But if you guys do have any questions for Ariba, Doreen, or Sorma, you can DM us at bright_future_dentists on Instagram, and you can direct a question specifically over to somebody, and I can just like forward it to them, get their answer, copy paste it on, and send it back to you. So yeah, thank you so much. I learned a lot, and I hope everybody else learned a lot too. Everyone's just saying thank you. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Like,
I'm happy to have like put this. This is like achieving the goal I wanted like this to have. So.
And guys, if you ever want like one-on-one like help or mentorship, I'm always available. Like not always available, like text me or the DM me or something, and like we can arrange a call just to, like talk, and like if you have any specific questions I can answer. Yeah,
Sorma also has a page. It's called health_Sorma, and you guys can actually see like everything else that she's up to, like with her career and everything on there.
She makes really cute, informative vlogs. You guys should check them out.
There's cooking videos and also cell culture videos, so it's like a mix of things.
Everything at once. So wholesome. I love it. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you to Ariba, our guest, for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so nice catching up with you guys.
Yes, I love it. Look forward to everything else. I'm sad Ariba didn't take physio. Oh no, she didn't take physio. Like we don't have like another course together.
But yeah, just suffered in anatomy. That's
it. Anyways, thank you so much. I just wanted to also announce really quickly that if you did want to get involved in our club and gain volunteer hours and experience that you can put on your resume, you can become an apprentice with us. And we're always looking to create new content and creating different opportunities to share with students, because we don't think that this community is one that like gatekeeps. We want to help each other. So if you wanted to get involved in different tasks that our club does, such as like the promotion on our Instagram or just creating the content like this workshop that we put out here for you today, you can sign up in the link in our link tree, and there's a detailed description of everything in the bio over there. The deadline to apply is February 10th, 2022, and all you need to do is answer the questions and attach your resume onto there. If you wanted to also attach a cover letter, you can do that as well, but keep it all into one file as a PDF. We're going to review the applications and get back to you shortly with confirmation emails. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say from my side. And thank you so much to everybody who joined. I really appreciate it. And a huge like round of applause to you guys for presenting. That was like amazing. So yeah, thank you. Everyone's good?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Did we go off live or still like?
No, we're still on it. Wait, how do I end it?
Yes, thank you so much again for having me.